In the wake of heightened political temperatures and calls to William Ruto to vacate office, William Ruto is apportioning blame. And we are wondering who exactly is sponsoring Gen Zs. Because William Ruto first, through the government spokesperson, told us that there are certain foreign powers that are dissatisfied with William Ruto. And Isaac Mwaura told us that it is because of the position that Kenya has taken globally. And he was mentioning the rallying call for action on climate change that William Ruto has been championing. He was also mentioning Ruto's position on the Russia-Ukraine war. And at some point, experts felt that William Ruto was blaming Russia. And this because when Russia even organized for the Russian African Summit, William Ruto did not go, and there has been bad blood between the two countries because even the fertilizer that was donated freely to Kenya was later sold to farmers, and it's been push and pull. But today, William Ruto is shocking the nation when he is appointing accusing fingers to an American non-governmental organization, namely Ford Foundation. This really shocked us because we've always thought that all the American NGOs are with William Samoei Ruto.
Kwa sababu Kenya ni nchi ya demokrasia. We have no use for anarchy and violence and destruction of property and loss of life. Wale ambao wanasponsor hiyo violence, sisi tunawajua. And I want to call out those who are behind the anarchy in Kenya, those who are behind the sponsoring the chaos in the Republic of Kenya. Shame on them, because they are sponsoring violence against our democratic nation. Mimi nataka niulize watu wa Ford Foundation, watuambie hiyo pesa wanatoa ifanye fujo ndio wapate faida gani? We are going to call them out and we are going to tell them if they are not interested in democracy in Kenya, if they are going to sponsor violence, if they are going to sponsor anarchy, we are going to call them out and we are going to tell them they either style up or they leave. Sisi tunataka tuwaambie wale ambao wanaleta pesa sijui kutoka wapi ati kujaribu kununua fujo, ati vijana wafanye fujo Kenya. Hawa wahuni tutawakomesha.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is funny that the very Ford Foundation that William Ruto is accusing is embraced by the judiciary. The judiciary is one arm of the government. Apart from the legislative arm of the government, we have the executive and the judiciary. Now, I want us to go to a post that was given by the president of the judiciary, Madam Martha Koome, when she met this foundation. And this is what she gave us. That I hosted the Ford Foundation Global Board led by President Darren Walker alongside judges of the Supreme Court of Kenya to discuss our shared commitment to advancing social justice. The Ford Foundation has been an enduring partner of the Kenyan judiciary and the purported, I just took a script there. So the very foundation that William Ruto is blaming has been in partnership with Kenya in many areas, including promoting justice, social justice. And you can see there they met with Madam Martha Koome. So I don't know whether William Ruto wants to tell us that one side of the government is supporting this Ford Foundation while another arm of the government is attacking it. I don't know. And William Ruto is looking for everyone to blame because he has realized that things are getting thicker. Like they say, a drowning man will always clutch on anything, including a grass. Now, William Ruto is drowning. He's looking for everyone, each and every person to blame. But I will tell you for a fact that Gen Zs are tired of lies. They are tired of unkept promises. They are tired of being taken for granted. They are tired of people making decisions on their behalf, but the decisions are not good for them. They are tired of leaders who are chest thumping. Their offices are being maintained by huge taxpayers' money, yet they deliver nothing. And this is why they went on the street. I don't think they're being sponsored. And if they are sponsored, there is an underlying condition that makes them rise to that occasion. If they were employed and the condition of doing business in the country was conducive, you will not even get a chance of getting into them. But William Ruto seems to have left a loophole that someone can get into them. So if they are being sponsored, William Ruto should understand then why. Because if someone would sponsor the youth, it only means that they saw a loophole. They are unemployed. They have been neglected. They have been looking at unkept promises. So he must seal the loopholes if he feels that someone is sponsoring them. We all know by now that William Ruto has been the blue-eyed boy of the West, the last born of Joe Biden. The other time he received an invitation and a very cordial reception in White House. And he's been undertaking every dictate from the West, taking our policemen to Haiti when the courts have decided otherwise. And so when we hear William Ruto blaming an American NGO, we are getting shocked. It is not the first time that this is happening, but of recent, we've seen a kind of U-turn. After the Gen Z started all these protests, even the IMF ditched William Ruto. Because I remember at some point, youths had decided that the Finance Bill 2024 was actually drafted by the IMF, the Bretton Woods institutions. And they said that after they are done with William Ruto, they would head directly to the offices of the IMF, and they had decided that they were going to forcefully eject the head of IMF in the country. And they were also targeting Meg Whitman, or rather the American embassy. But at that very moment, when they were targeting IMF said that William Ruto is wasteful. We need to ask him where he's taking all the money that is taking from IMF in terms of loans. And it was very shocking because we thought that they would come in his defense. They told him, you must carry your cross. Then today we hear William Ruto telling us that Ford Foundation is responsible for the protest by Gen Zs. It is, I can't accept this. But why do you think there is a kind of U-turn? Or why do you think William Ruto is blaming the Ford Foundation? Because I was checking, Ford Foundation has got its headquarters in New York. It is ranked the 11th wealthiest NGO. They are philanthropists. They are operating in, did I see 11 countries in Africa, Asia? Name them. Why do you think William Ruto is blaming them? Because NGOs are supposed to be working even sometimes to help the government. And especially an NGO that is coming from Joe Biden's territory is expected to be aiding William Ruto's relationship with that of Joe Biden. And I've got a feeling that just like many other presidents, America will use you and then dump you. William Ruto rose to power by promising very many things that he was going to do. But it is becoming very clear that one, he is unable to control the very youth that he rode on to get to power. The youths are now ditching him, and he is becoming less important to the US because he's unable to control the youth. And to see, America is realizing that Ruto is becoming less significant to them because there are things that he signed. If the youths stand firm that there will be no GMO in the country, there will be no LGBTQ, we will not sell our state corporations, including the Kenya Seed Corporation that they are really interested in because they want to control animal feeds and human foods in the country, then William Ruto will be very useless to them. Their relationship was not that of symbiotic. It was parasitic. They wanted to benefit from William Ruto. That is why even after the courts refused that we are not taking our policemen to Haiti, William Ruto is taking our people because he loves money. So in the event that William Ruto cannot control the youths, in the event that the youths stand firm and tell him that we are not going to accept this, then his business or their business with William Ruto will be over. And they will be looking for someone who can endear himself to the youth. That is why William Ruto was quite alarmed when Rigathi Gachagua had started telling us that he listens to the people, he's a village man. He took that brand that was given when Kimani Chunga called him that he loves village politics. And he said, yes, I love village politics because every politics is local. And it seems that they are ditching William Ruto for this. Number two, there seems to me that William Ruto might have told them that he would work only with the West and he will ditch the East. But he's realizing that he cannot ditch the East. He went to Korea. He's been to China. We have loans with China, and we cannot just wish them away. William Ruto realizes that what you promised, just like he promised Kenyan citizens, I think he might have promised a lot to the Western countries. He's realizing very slowly that you cannot work with the West alone, because at some point there are things that you need from the East. And I think this does not really augur well with the Western machination here. They are looking at William Ruto with a fine-tooth comb and they feel maybe it is time to go. People have always said that America will use and dump you. I remember that was, there's a former president, I'm forgetting the name, who was saying that the day you hear the West praising me, just know that I've ditched you. There are no two ways about it. You are either a darling of the West and people don't like you, or you are a darling of your people and America does not like you. That is it. You can never serve two masters. So as William Ruto is doing this, he's simply telling us that maybe these people are ditching him. And now for him to come out and say it clearly, William Ruto wants to set America against the people so that they feel that, you know, these are the people who are responsible for instability in our country. But it is too little, too late. We've known him. We knew all along that America never meant well for us, but he insisted on working with them. I'm also thinking that there could be a choreographed plan to pretend that that they're not reading from the same script, so that we forget about our fight with America, because it has not ended. People feel that IMF and America is almost the same thing, and that they are the ones that sponsored our bill. And now William Ruto is telling us that they are enemies. So there could be just a plan to hoodwink us that they are not in good terms. He's a Trojan horse hiding under the guise of we have disagreed, which could not be very true. It could also be just a diversionary tactics. But if you ask me, there seems to be a step behind. They were with William Samoei Ruto, but I don't think so. There are contracts that they were supposed to be given. I don't think they are getting them as they thought. Because, you know, William Ruto thought that he would be bullying his ways forever. He says this and it happens. But the Gen Zs have put a seatbelt. Gen Zs have decided that you must work under our constitution. We will be guiding you. You cannot have a corrupt cabinet. You cannot be working with the West. We must guide you on how to do it. And I think this is really going against their will, going against their MOU, because now instead of implementing everything the way he wanted, he has to consult the Gen Zs. And history has shown that Gen Zs can always collapse your government. So William Ruto is torn in between the US and the Gen Z. And you see, we are dealing with a generation that really read a lot. They understand what is happening globally, and they know who are responsible for our predicaments. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is damaging. William Ruto will soon suffer, because he will not be the first person, by the way, to be used and dumped. That has been the way of our politics, betrayal, both locally and internationally. What do you think? Do you think Ford Foundation is responsible for the mess?